Hey y'all, it's Diana from the Dianaverse, and I am here to wish you new moon and solstice blessings. We've got the new moon in Capricorn and 12:23 at 5:17 a.m. where I am. I'm on East Coast time right now, visiting family for the holidays. That'll be 2:17 in the West Coast, where I'm normally at, Pacific Standard Time. Happy birthday, Capricorns! Yes, it is your month. Seize the month. This is the very start of this birthday month, and we also have the winter solstice happening today. Actually, I was hoping to get this up yesterday, but today. It's the new moon of the year because it's the longest night where it's the darkest. So we're getting a blend of these energies of the kind of the new moon of the earth going into the new moon of the astrological month. If you like these videos, I want to remind you to subscribe and like below so that you make sure you get them every month, and also feel free to share them with friends that are interested in astrology. Would love to see more people listening to these forecasts. So we've got the longest night, and this new moon is really like a very new beginning because it's at 1 degrees and 33 minutes of Capricorn, the very beginning of the sign. So we've got a party in Capricorn. Yay, Capricorns. We've got 5 planets in there. Besides the sun and the moon, which are always together at the new moon, we have Venus, Mercury, and Pluto. Pluto is in its very last degree. So the sun and the moon are at the beginning degrees, and Pluto is at the very last degree. So it's like starting new cycles and also ending old cycles, which we've been working on for a while because Pluto takes a long time to move through the signs. If you think about a new moon in Capricorn, what a party there would look like, it would be like a barn raising, right? It's a very industrious sign. People always think of Capricorn, they think of work. It's ruled by Saturn. And actually, I wanted to talk about how Capricorn and Aquarius, every time we come to that part of the year, it's sort of an initiatory, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a process as you go from Capricorn to Aquarius. Traditionally, they were both ruled by Saturn. So you've got Capricorn, which is a cardinal sign, that's like movement and action. And Aquarius is a fixed sign, so you're starting something, you're getting it moving, you're initiating action, and then Aquarius, which is actually an air sign, will fix it in and take it forward. And these are the only 2 signs in the zodiac where you're going to be right next to each other, where you go from one sign to the other, ruled by the same planet. Capricorn is seen a lot as a work sign, but it's kind of a misunderstood sign because it's also a very mystical sign. If you look at the symbol for Capricorn, it's the sea goat. It's not just a goat going up the mountain. It's coming up out of the sea. So it's like coming up from the primordial basis of the material world and then building something that it can aspire to, that it can climb to. So there is a mystical element to Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. They're both cold, dry signs. So Capricorn is the more Saturnian, Saturn-ruled sign. Aquarius is an air sign, so you're kind of moving into new territory there. But Capricorn is like in a way, it's like the priestess. I know Virgo is the priestess, but Capricorn has this quality where it really draws down the mystical into the material world in a very material way. Not just an initiatory way, but a very concrete building of things. So things to think about while you're contemplating what you want to initiate on the new moon. We've also got Aries, 0 degrees, Capricorn, just said Capricorn, that's why it's on my mouth. Jupiter in the very beginning, it's back to 0 degrees of Aries after its retrograde. So we're restarting some things that we might have been doing this fall, maybe with some new energy from this Capricorn drive to get things done. So look for things that you can pick back up, and you might want to kind of have some new energy for those things. It's kind of a complex, it's like we're standing on shifting sands because you've got a lot of back and forth energy with the planets, and I'm not going to go into all the aspects this month. You all can let me know down in the comments whether you prefer when I do all the aspects, when I'm telling you which planets are doing what, or if you just want the synopsis of what the energy is. So I'm just doing the synopsis this time, and we'll see how you like that. So there's dynamic tension, there's a back and forth between the planets. We're emphasizing our values and our attachments, how our discussions about them get real, right? With Capricorn, that can get kind of cut to the chase instead of a lot of flowery language. We might just get down to it at this new moon. It can be a little bit bumpy if we misunderstand each other. There's some of that kind of energy where there's misunderstandings or illusions about things, expectations people have rather than what's really going on. So that can be a little bit bumpy, but if you really make the effort to communicate, you can get a lot done. There can be sudden insights. There can be breaks in the structure of our environment. We just had that big earthquake in California, so yeah, the earth is moving around a little, so it can be literal things. That Mercury retrograde is getting going already. Have y'all noticed that? I have had technology breakdowns already, cell phone problems, and weird stuff like just a setting going off and taking down my whole phone, having to figure that out. So it wasn't like an actual physical break on that. It was more of a structural setting. So look out for snafus around systems. So that could be electrical grids, that could be the internet, that could be just things getting its signals mixed. That can happen between people too. So give people the benefit of the doubt maybe if you're communicating about important things right now. Change is inevitable, whether it's slow or fast. We got both of those going on at the moment in the astrological weather. There's kind of a siren call to distractions, to distracting ourselves, not dealing with stuff, maybe checking out a little bit, finding other oceans to swim in. So some people will choose to float away, whether it's people or institutions. You may see the endings of people or pets or institutions at this time. So know that they're going on to other shores. It's not a super bad thing. It's a choice to just move on maybe. Some things you have to deal with if it's your physical structure, like the earthquakes. You don't have a lot of choice in that, but you have a choice in how you deal with it. The new normal may be learning how to build flexible operations. There's a beauty to flowing between situations if we're centered in our basic nature, right? Capricorn is like the tarot card, the wheel of fortune. If you're on the outside, if you're like, oh, this or that or that, I think I went over this recently too on another podcast, but if you're centered in the center of the wheel, like if you know what your values are, what your overall goal is, the structures can kind of flow a little bit, and that's okay because you know who you are. If you find yourself getting agitated, bored, otherwise disgruntled, check if what's irritating you is something based on your old structures, on your old habits, your old ways that you deal with people, old patterns. You might want to change those up because they may not be working for you anymore. The solstice. So the solstice is interesting. I was thinking a lot about that this year, how it's actually the shortest day of the year, right? So it's the most night, but we focus on the light, the return of the light. So I think with this new moon coming just a couple days before the solstice, like we're getting that dark part of the month so that we can settle into all the dark stuff that we need to wrap up. This is kind of like the strongest point of the Kaliach, where she changes up the structures and she's like, this gotta go, this gotta change, I'm gonna smash this. And I invite you to investigate the darkness a little bit, because this is the shortest day of the year. Don't be in a big hurry to get to the light again. It's going to come soon enough. A couple days on the Actually, tonight is the solstice, so after today, the days start getting slightly longer every day. So what I thought about as a practical practice for this particular lunation is go out at the time of the solstice. If you're awake at that time, that'll be easy for me here because it's going to be in the evening, just as the sun goes down. I'm in the subtropics right now, so it's nice out. If you're in the winter, you might want to spend less time at this, but I am going to soul gaze with the moon, just looking at where the moon would be. Like, it's the dark moon, so you won't see it, but it's right where the sun is, so you look where the sun is going down. Gaze into that spot and just kind of open your awareness and settle in and quiet your thoughts. Do a little meditation with the dark moon and the darkness, and see what kind of floats up for you. What impressions do you get? What sounds do you hear? Are there things that still come into your visual plane? And what does it remind you of? And kind of maybe work with that. I'm going to do 15 minutes because I'm somewhere fairly nice. You might do 5 minutes if you're somewhere snowy and cold and you don't want to be out that long. And I invite you to do this kind of dark gazing before you move on to your celebration of the return of the light. Yeah, kind of honor that transition, just like we have this transition between Aquarius and or Capricorn and then going into Aquarius. Maybe use this here as a transitional phase between the new moon and the longest night of the year with the solstice. They're kind of almost at the same time this year, so you can kind of celebrate them both together. The solstice happens at 4:47 today. That'll be 1:37 if you're on the West Coast. So you might have to wait a little longer for it to get dark if you want to do the dark gazing. Or you could just go into like a dark room or something and gaze into like a mirror before you move on to the celebration of light. So my plant friends for this month, what I suggest is Capricorn, it rules the bones, it rules the connective tissue. So be aware of accidents and sprains and the resurgence of old injuries from like old broken bones or things like old sprains. So I would suggest nettles, horsetail, mullein, make a nice tea. You could add some cinnamon to that. That's also good for regulating the blood sugar at this time, especially if you've been overindulging with holidays a bit. And it really supports, all those minerals support the bones, so that's a good tea for this time of year. The rock friends, garnet is associated with Capricorn. I've been working with dragon energy a lot since the eclipses, and Capricorn. Dragons are associated with garnets and rubies, and also Capricorn is associated with garnets, so it's a good time to work with that. It's a very dark red stone, so good for the like strong base and a little bit of darkness there. So yeah, let me know if you like this kind of forecast better without all the technical. I was afraid I might be overwhelming people a little bit with the technical aspects. So I'm always trying to improve these videos for you. These are free videos, not charging anything, not selling anything at the moment. So just practicing my astrology. Let me know if it's working for you and what you like or don't like. Share and subscribe. And Merry Solstice and Happy New Moon. May you plant some seeds of attention. We'll be coming up on Candlemas not too long from now, so we'll be nurturing those seeds. Self-care is a really good thing for the Capricorn season. Capricorn tend to overwork and overdo things, stress yourself out, so some self-care and downtime is a really good thing at this time, and I encourage you to take some. And I hope you have wonderful holidays, whichever ones you celebrate, and I will talk to you again at the full moon the next time. All right, take care, friends. Bye-bye.